Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of New Mexico. New property going live on the website this week. One of two that are in a subdivision we have not previously bought, listed, or sold land in before. This is a really nice subdivision that I was excited to discover and excited to start buying up some land in. So we've got two lots going live on the website this week with two separate videos, and we're going to have more in the weeks ahead. This one, however, is particularly special, and I wanted this first up in the lineup because it is a giant corner lot, relatively giant, 5 acres, and it's got power and underground utilities, as you can see, of course, from the headline. So there's a lot to like about this property in this subdivision, and I think you'll agree with me. Let's get to the specifics. This is reference number CBNM-4909. If you're going to call and talk about this property, this is the number you would reference. Located in Cibola County, out in the western part of the state, just bordering Arizona. It is 4.9 acres. We're going to say 5, round up for conversational purposes, and it's located in the Pitchford Properties subdivision. And as you saw up top here, these 5 acres are priced at $12,000, which is actually a really good price for land in this subdivision in general or on a price per acre basis. Anyway, let's pull this up on a map, show you guys exactly where this is. As with all of our listings down here on the table, we've got GPS coordinates, 4 corner points in the center. Click any one of them and ba-boom, up on Google Maps, the property shall appear. Before we get into specifics, as I'm fond of doing in this videos, I'd like to show you the New Mexico Geography North Star, which is Albuquerque, because everybody knows where that's at. So even if you know nothing else in the state, you will know that Albuquerque is here in the north central part. And over here, about 100 miles west, is the subject property. In fact, let's right-click, measure distance, and you will see that Google backs me up on this. Roughly about 100 miles as the crow flies. Of course, most of that drive is going to be easy interstate drive, I-40, so you're doing about 75, 80 miles an hour. So should not take you an hour and a half to get out here, at least not to do most of the drive. You take the 40 out to the 53, and the 53 basically out to the subject property. As we are fond of saying in these videos, Cibola County, which is out here in the western portion of the state, has more wildlife than it has people. So there's a lot to do out here, a lot to explore, particularly if you are a nature lover. If you're not, this is probably not the property for you, but just a few of the many greatest hits of Cibola County include the El Morro National Monument over here, the El Malpais National Monument and Conservation Area over here, Train of Craters Wilderness Study Area over here. Of course, all these things provide a lot of great sort of hiking, camping, sightseeing opportunities. If that's not your jam, we've also got the Ramah Reservoir, Ramah Lake over here, as well as the Blue Water Lake State Park up here. Of course, both of these ideal for boating, fishing, jet skiing, and general water-based recreation activities. Additionally, don't bury the headline. We've also got this giant splotch of green here on the map, which is 300,000 acres of prime hunting ground, the Cibola National Forest. Ideal also, of course, for hiking, camping, picnics, sightseeing, whatever, but especially for hunting, and of course the species that thrive in this area and that are most popular amongst hunters. I screwed it up. Mule, elk deer, there you go, and wild turkey. This subject property over here sits in the Candy Kitchen region of Cibola County. It actually sits very close to the Wild Spirit Wolf Sanctuary, where they have sort of in captivity different wolves, foxes, coyotes, so on and so forth. Pretty close to the property right here. This cutout area that you see here on the map is this subdivision that we have the property in. This is the Pitchford Properties subdivision right here, all of this area. And as you can see, it's located, it's also called Candy Kitchen. And down here in Candy Kitchen, we also have the Ranch Airport, which is 2 little runways that they've got right here. So if you actually have your own private plane and you live in Albuquerque, it's going to take you a lot less than an hour and a half to get out here. Anyway, this is a really nice region. It's one of these subdivisions where there's actually power and underground utilities throughout most of the region. I don't want to lead you to believe they're on every road, but they're on most roads. They service a lot of home sites out here. If you zoom in on the map, you'll see some home sites and people living out here in what look, at least from this view, to be some pretty nice, homes that are built out here. You've also got some trailers in the area, some mobile homes, most likely with permanent foundations, though that's not necessarily mandated out here, etc. Anyway, so the point is there's people living out here, there's utilities. It should not be necessarily difficult to build out here. Oh, also want to mention just before I get to the subject property that there is out here as well a little kind of convenience store in the region where they have things like propane and water and probably jerky. I'm going to guess they have a lot of jerky. As well as some general supplies and groceries. If you're looking for the nearest town for groceries and supplies, like if you buy this land and you're like, hey, how far do I have to drive to buy lumber because I want to build? or a hammer and some nails. Well, we got a town over here called Mountain View. Not much going on in Mountain View. Ramah is really going to be the nearest town where you're likely to get groceries and supplies. Though, of course, it's worth noting, worth pointing out that less than an hour northeast of you is Grants. Grants, of course, is the county seat out here in Cibola County, where you will find things like big box stores like Walmart, as well as most every fast food restaurant. If we zoom in here on Grants, you'll see, aside from the Cibola Hospital that they have out here, they've also got the Grants Milan Municipal Airport. Blah, blah, blah. So a lot going on out here, and probably the place you're going to go if you really need some heavy-duty supplies and, you're going to do some bulk shopping at Costco or something. But as far as little weekend runs for food, things like that, Mountain View, Ramah, or the country store down here in Candy Kitchen. It should also be noted Candy Kitchen has the Mission Church out here. They got a church, they got a runway, and they've got a volunteer fire department down here in this area, where if you zoom in on the map far enough, it will come up, though it seems to be eluding me tonight. Anyway, all right, guys. Subject property is located here at the corner of Five Gates Road and Bucking Horse Lane. It sits like that right there. Of course, if we go to map view, you will not see the plat overlay, so I'm going to direct your attention to the listing page. Down here, guys, we've got not only the Google Earth overlay, which gives you a sense of the size, shape, location of the lot. Nice corner lot out here. But also, we have the plat map. Ba-boom. Everybody likes looking at plat maps. And this is the plat map here where you can see, again, corner lot, and also this line that you see going north-south through the property is a utility easement. And if you look at the photo gallery on this property, you're going to see that there are some, for instance, power running right here along the property boundary, power lines running along the property boundary. There's also this little guy over here, underground utilities in the region. I will get back to that in just a second. Anyway, point being, up here on the property, just want to point out to you the map backs me up on this. Power line right here, power line right here. Again, sort of simulating that north-south utility easement. Just want to reiterate that that's there. And yeah, I think that does it for map view. Let's go back to the photos. All right, guys, so a couple things. First off, down here in the gallery, we've got a couple sets of photos. Number one is Quemado Lake, which is about 30 minutes south of here. This is one of the lakes that I did not point out on the map earlier, but of course, another great place for some general relaxation that you've got semi in your backyard, within the backyard of this property. Very picturesque out here, and as I understand it, a place that locals like to go, locals who live down there in Pie Town and Quemado. Additionally, then we get into these photos. These are photos sort of from the entrance to Candy Kitchen. As you can see here, some of the just activities that they have going on out here. This is the Candy Kitchen trading post that I was referencing earlier, where you can get food, propane, lumber, hardware, not advertised as jerky, but I bet it's there. And as we continue through this, more advertisements for the church, things like that. Wild Spirit Wolf Sanctuary, community mailboxes out here, gift shop with... what is that? Campground and wolf tours. There you go. Anyway, and finally over here we have the CKVFD, the Candy Kitchen Volunteer Fire Department. Yes, that's what that stands for. That's what the acronym means. And then, guys, only then do we get into the property-specific photos. So this is your first photo here of the property. This is Five Gates Road right here. As you can see, this is a well-maintained road. You're going to be able to navigate this in any vehicle type. This is not something that's too rocky, too hilly, where you're going to need a, off-road vehicle. Going to be able to get out there, or even in a, I don't know, a Toyota Subaru, I guess. Did I say that? I don't know cars. Anyway, Toyota Camry, something. Anyway, point being, guys, power at the lot line, underground utilities right here in the region, and as we go through the property photos, you will also see that this is a nice flat buildable piece of land, largely a nice flat buildable piece of land, but you'll be able to put down a mobile home, and likely a lot of other things that you might want to do. I'll get into zoning in just a second, but this area may be ideal for tiny homes, shipping container homes. I see nothing that says that it's not in the quote-unquote zoning restrictions or within the covenants. So for those of you who are looking to do the sort of unconventional structures that you can't do in other parts of New Mexico, this may be ideal for you, particularly if you do want to be hooked up to the grid, particularly if solar is not your thing. Additionally, or if you don't want to deal with, the logistics with solar. Additionally, out here, we also have some really nice views of the nearby sort of mesas, the rock formations that surround this place. And, of course, we've got the drone photos here at the end, in which we also take the time to outline the general size, shape, location of the property. This is an approximation, but it's a fairly educated one. And then this one, ba-boom, which also shows you the property. So you've got some nice road frontage here along the north, as well as on the eastern boundaries of the property. blah, blah, blah. With all that said, guys, do want to let you know that we're also going to have a drone video down here at the bottom of the page that will give you a nice sense of the property, the terrain, the surroundings as well with this one. So with that said, you might want to check that out. Now, let's talk about zoning. Let's talk about what you can and cannot do out here. So Cibola County has no formal zoning designations for things like this. What Cibola County's mentality is that they defer to subdivisions, they defer to homeowners associations, to property owners associations, and to whatever covenants and restrictions go with those subdivisions. So the first thing is that you're not going to have to worry about the county. So covenants and restrictions. What covenants and restrictions are in place? So generally speaking, when I see a subdivision like this, where it's been outfitted with utilities, okay, where property values are fairly high because they've managed to put power throughout the region, underground utilities, and you've got some people living out here, and there's some nice roads. Usually what that says to me is that somebody's maintaining the area, and there are some yearly dues or some yearly fees. This one, Pitchford Properties, has no yearly dues. Additionally, there's no active HOA out there. So the only thing you really have to fall back on with this are the covenants and restrictions that go with the land. Now, down here, we write a little bit about this in our property-specific notes. This third bullet point discusses this. So Pitchford was a subdivision that was created in 1986, and in the original covenants, they allowed for the covenants to run with the land for essentially 30 years before they would sunset, before they would expire. Now, we have a copy of those covenants. You can click them right here. We also have them down here in the table under what we're calling POA regulations. So the CCRs are right here. Click those, and it will bring it up. This PDF right here. Now, from what I've seen, from what I've researched, from what I've learned talking to realtors out there, I don't believe these covenants are still in place. But let's pretend for 2 seconds they are. First of all, it is a one-page document of covenants. There are 10 of them. And if you look at these, I think you will find these are all pretty logical, reasonable, just good neighbor stuff. Number 2 on this list, for instance, no junk cars, trucks, or junk mechanical equipment of any kind may be parked or placed on the property. That seems fairly reasonable. Don't park a bunch of junk on the land and create a big giant eyesore for everybody to look at every day. We're out here in this beautiful countryside out here in Cibola County. Let's keep it looking nice. That one seems easy, okay? Number 3, no trash, junk, or waste of any kinds to be deposited or blah, blah, blah. All right, again, don't litter. That seems pretty easy as well. Number 4, no tar paper shacks or dilapidated unkept trailers. All right, again, this all seems pretty easy. So that's what a lot of these are. Bullet point number 6 here essentially is just this is a residential property. It's not for business use. Bullet point number 7, no mining on the property. Number 8 just has to do with butane tanks and water storage just to make sure they're up to code. That, again, does not seem unreasonable, etc. So look these over. Make sure you're cool with them. But for the most part, what I'm seeing with this is they're not in place. If they are in place, it's probably not much to worry about. It should be noted in bullet point number 9 here is about subdivision. You can't subdivide the lots. That's the only thing. If you're looking to buy this 5-acre property and say, hey, I'm gonna chop this up into 5 1-acre properties, let's presume you can't do that. Okay. But the point is that if your aspiration with a property in New Mexico, you're looking to buy something where you can do a tiny home, a shipping container home, etc., there's no qualifications here for minimum square footage. The county doesn't have much to say about that. So as long as the thing you're building is up to code, because let's remember, you have federal law, you have state law, you have environmental law, you have building codes, building regulations, so on and so forth. Those are the kinds of things you have to abide by. But actual zoning is not really going to be a problem here, and it doesn't look like covenants or restrictions would be a problem with this property as well. So, things to keep in mind. Additionally, some other things I want to point out to you guys. We have some links down here under county contact information. We provide these for our buyers to help you with your due diligence. If you're going to dump $12,000 on a property, we want to make sure that you're happy with it, that you've had time to do whatever research you want, to know that the property is ideal for you. So we've got some links down here. First one is the Continental Divide Electric Co-op. These are the people who service this region with power. So you've got power at the lot line. Most likely it's not going to be difficult. It's not going to be super expensive to get it extended to whatever you eventually end up building out here, whether it's a hunting cabin or just some permanent residence, etc. But you may want to reach out to them in advance and just say, hey, I'm looking to buy some property out in Candy Kitchen. It's about a 5-acre lot. You guys have already got power on it. What do I need to know? What's this going to cost me? These are some questions you might want to ask in advance, a conversation you might want to have in advance. Additionally, we also have some helpful links here to the Office of the State Engineer. If you're not familiar with these people, you're going out here, you're going to build on the land, you're going to need a source of water. Most likely you're going to be drilling a well. This is the office in the state of New Mexico you talk to about getting water rights, about getting well permits, about getting permitted to drill down, X feet down to the water table to get water. Now, a lot of people will call our offices. They'll ask us questions about what's the water table depth on this property? How deep is it? What's it going to cost me? Here's the short answer. I don't know. Here's the longer answer. I could probably try to figure it out, but I can't quote you a number that I believe would ever be accurate, that I ever believe would be reliable. So I don't like to do that. So what we recommend is talk to local well drillers, talk to vendors, talk to people who do this for a living, and they can tell you it's definitely 50 feet down over here. It's definitely 200 feet down. Typically, when you're talking about well drilling, they're charging you for price per foot of drill depth. So, the shorter it is, the less expensive it is. But those are the best people to talk to, not this guy, I promise. I'm an educated man, but this is not something I know a lot about. So, blah, blah, blah. We recommend reaching out to them, or also here on this website that I've brought up. You can look up well logs. You can look up wells in this region and how far down they've been drilled until they got water. That might give you some sense. It might really just ballpark it for you, which is another reason why I don't like to quote well log depth off this website. But it is a resource we provide for you guys. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so ultimately, it's a really nice property with the power, with the underground utilities, etc. Not a lot of zoning out there, not a lot of covenants or restrictions, things to worry about. No additional yearly fees with an HOA, so on and so forth. So there's a lot to like about this. If you are intrigued, if this is something that you do want to buy, I just want to let you guys know we closed on this with Quest Title Company. Quest is the only title company in Cibola County. So they have insured the land. We've got clear and marketable title. We're going to be giving you a warranty deed. So if this is something that you want to purchase, come up here, click the Buy Now button. It's going to take you to a secure checkout page. Guys, let me quickly say this. This is $500 we're asking you for. This is not a financing situation. This isn't $500 down, $100 a month for the next 36 years of your life. This is, we want all $12,000 relatively soon, okay? So you put down the $500. It's just a way to kick off the transaction. It's just a way to show us that you're serious. Whether you want to close with a credit card or through title and escrow, and in this price range, we recommend title escrow. But the point is the $500 is non-refundable. $500 says, yes, I'm a serious buyer. Let's get this process going. So I'm going to ask you for a couple pieces of information: legal name for deed, tax address, where's the county going to send the yearly tax bill. Agree to the terms of service, click next, and on the very next page, we're going to ask you for credit or debit card information. Once you have the $500 down, we're going to contact you pretty soon after the money comes in. And we're going to talk about how you want to close on the property. Do you want to close with a credit card, or do you want to close through title escrow? Again, we recommend title escrow. When you get into this price range, I like our buyers to have that extra guarantee that there's a third party handling their money, not releasing their money to us until such time as the land has been conveyed to you, until it's in your name. So that's one of the benefits of a title company. Additionally, if you're going to start building out here, if you're going to take out a loan of some sort to build on the land, no lender will lend money without knowing that you've got title insurance, that you've got clear and marketable title. And, we can tell you we've got it, but they're not going to believe Hemingway land. They want to see an underwriter like First American Title say, yes, they've got clear and marketable title. So this is why title insurance is a good thing. So here's the thing, guys. If all that's too confusing, if you haven't dealt with a title company before, if I went through that too quickly, how it works buying from us, this is a page on our website where we kind of break down the different ways in which we can handle this transaction. The one I want to direct your attention to is this one down here. For properties over $10,000, again, title escrow. The way this works is you put down the earnest money deposit. We're going to draft a contract. We're going to have that to you in 24 hours. You sign it, we submit it to the title company, they're going to do the rest, and usually they're going to hokey poke around for about 30 days before they ask us to sign a deed or before they ask you to fund the rest of the transaction. So roughly about a month later, they'll call you and say, okay, wire us the $11,500, and they'll send us a packet of documents to sign, including a new deed. And again, they don't release your money to us until such a time as we've signed the new deed. Okay. And by the way, guys, if you'd like to take a look at what that contract looks like that we use, just click this link right here. It'll bring it up. It's a generic version of our standard contract. Very simple, one page for signatures. Look it over, have your attorney look it over, whatever, but that's what we're going to be using, okay? Anyway, with all that said, guys, if you got any questions, leave a comment here on YouTube, shoot us an email, support@hemingwayland.com, or give us a call, guys, 702-919 or 7170. We look forward to talking to you. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video.